It is live. All right, here we are.
Hey, all right.
What's up, people?
What's going on out there? Make sure first things first, you click that subscribe button down below. Helps out a lot.
Yeah, that would
Thank
be
you.
nice. So you built that today, huh?
Today,
NASA's over here showing off a new one.
yeah, this is definitely this is one of the newer ones. I built this today as well. Gotta put some tape on it. I think this
It looks like Firecat.
it looks like Firecat. It's not exactly like Firecat. As you can see, square in the back.
Yeah, this is true. Oof.
We are live.
What did you
So,
what are these ideas here? What gave you these ideas? What is this?
well, this was built out of a square shape.
It looks familiar.
Vaguely familiar, yeah. Like I said, it looks like Firecat.
It's similar. It's similar.
Ugh,
Okay,
Looks
so
like my bird.
all right, people.
just
Here's
trying.
what we're gonna do.
Here's what we're going to do. Well, we never really got to officially talk about the tech like we wanted to the last time because it turned into a test program for us, so it was cut short. And as a couple of the reviewers pointed out, it was like, well, those viewers pointed out that like we weren't prepped, we didn't know we could have brought something to the show. So we'll be
Yeah,
doing this one.
we're not Thunderbolt to the show that I built last time. That one, I still don't know how that ended up all like this.
And I apparently cannot use the table.
Okay, so here's what we're gonna do.
Can you grab me that metal clipboard? Clipboard, the big gray clipboard.
Let me
Let you
let's start out with the technology discussion.
okay.
Technology discussion. Here's what my dilemma is. We have playing like Diablo that has got so much potential,
Indeed.
and yet I still don't have what I want out of that plane.
Well, what do you want out of that plane? You want it to be a potentially farther glider than it is now, correct?
Oh, of course, of course.
But you don't want it to be topping Spider, right?
Not, I never know.
Well, I mean, look, as your current and past setup was, you had Spider as your long range striker, and I will use the current terminology, and you had Draco. Oh my God, I went back in time. Sorry,
Oh,
folks.
you went way back in time.
Diablo,
Way
yes.
back.
Diablo was seen as the control fighter, and of course, as we all know now, that's kind of
The medium range.
rather moot point. But yeah, now it's more like a medium range striker. Now, since we can have multiples of each, it is almost suggested at this point that you go with the. I don't know, if you want more out of it, you should go with making Diablo about has longer range striker as Spider. So we're going to look at it like that, right?
Right.
Not there. Well, if this is the case, oh, God, it pains me to do.
Yeah, so basically, yeah, Spider, I do have his long range. If I can get Spider to go further, that would be great. I can get Diablo top Spider, I can reverse it. And go from there. In your
Well, Spider could use, because it is such a basic platform. We're talking it is, for all intents and purposes, it's not exactly, of course, you do it differently, but it is a it's a phase, single papered. So essentially, whatever a phase has, it can practically have.
Spider's double.
No. I mean, I'm sorry. I was referring to
Diablo.
Diablo on this one.
Oh, okay.
But if we're trying to get Diablo to a point where the spider is, as far as range goes. And let's face it, if we're using it as a test bed for any tech that you want to use on any plane, Diablo is definitely the plane to use it on, just because, again, it's got a way more basic plan form, especially when you want to play around with the trailing edge.
Yeah, because obviously with Spider, I have no room to do anything back here because there's not really much back here.
That's right. But when you have I mean, even in Wyvern's case here, when you have a flat trailing edge, anything you want to do with the rear as far as putting strakes back here, flaps back here, a tail, I mean, like the tail fin, which can be done with Spider or Delta Diamonds, but like twin tails, I mean,
Yeah.
it's a lot better to have some kind of straight trailing edge or a standard trailing edge than having a Delta Diamond. And it only takes you one time, dude, seriously, take my word for it. It only takes you one time of tucking those Delta Diamonds in to figure out that the plane really needs those.
Oh, yeah. We've already tested that out before, especially with this one. With Spider. We've cut them off. We cut them off. We've tucked them in. We've done a lot of stuff to try to make it. I just don't understand it. Why
Well,
is it needed?
I'd like to think that it's actually a stability issue. I mean, yes, Nova uses it too. And of course, you see with Spider because it's a glider for you, but Javelin's a prime example. I mean, when we're talking this thing is being forced into the wind, air flows underneath. If it traps in an anhedral that's triangular shaped this way, right here, it circles through. It just passes through better than if it was. Imagine this being cut off, and everything just stops there. And I mean, instead of like essentially creating the wing, having the wing in a triangular flutter, which is what happens because the wing flutters and then it just.
I get it because this is at an angle.
Yes. Yeah, it just helps trap that much more air. It's one of the reasons. Well, it's one of the reasons why if you took the same plane, if you took like a plane like this, and you gave this one like fake Delta Diamond simply by adding on an extra, I don't know, half-inch piece, 2-inch piece, 1-inch piece. Hell, you could add tails. It would actually add stability to the aircraft.
But you can't take it away from something that needs it.
No.
But you could in all aspects take it away by leaving this flat and not folding this anhedral in, cutting this off, and then manufacturing in strakes down here.
Yes. And I've never actually tried that. It would definitely be a really cool idea, especially in helping out any of the planes that need, like Javelin, any of your interceptors. Thunderbolt would be the same way, but Thunderbolt doesn't really have a Delta Diamond, does it? It's just got a little bit of the tip, right?
Yeah, it's just got it on the anhedral, really. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. But something like that is, and especially Javelin and Apex K is Apex to a degree too because it's the same way. If you could add an X-wing to this, if you had a dihedral facing up, the same duration as you have one facing down, so that there's like equivalent size up and down. The stability on that is like outstanding. Take any plane any of you have out there and give it X-wings. It doesn't matter what it once did. It's going to do it really straight from then on. Because, I mean, let's face it. That's what that's there for. Is just make it go ridiculously straight.
Do they both need to be up and down, or can they be both canted a little bit? So you've got your tops going like this and your bottoms coming out like this.
Well, I think the degree of, I think what you're dealing with when you're you're deciding to either put those anhedrals at a full negative incidence, or if you're going with some degree out, some degree in, if you're canting them in and out. It all depends on what you're trying to get out of the plane. Like Javelin prefers it to be as close to 90 degrees as possible to
Well,
achieve the
yes,
straightest flights.
yeah, same with Thunderbolt.
Right.
They need to be pretty much 90 degrees.
And you can take a plane just like the one you and I built last night. And this thing seems to do a lot better with them also straight down, but it glides and it banks. At least for me, mine did, the glide and bank. And but like phases have to have them canted out, or else they don't perform. Wyvern, because of the rifle out here, they can't go straight. They are forced out. It isn't just because the whole wing kind of wise up. It's the rifle just forces them out there. I mean, I could try to do that, but it's inevitable that they're going to cant themselves back out during the flight anyway. I mean, again, we could look at, when it comes to that, we can look at structurally enhancing them so they are forced down. But pretty much then you're really getting to just stuff you probably don't need. I mean, if we're talking just simple basic paper here, we could just, like if it wants to be that way, we'll let it be that way. We'll work around it,
Yeah, I got you. So with Wyvern, is the rifle on the top and the bottom?
Various builds have it in various places. This one, actually, I think this is one of the better ones as far as flights go. So if I build Wyvern and expect it to have the best flights, rifle is on top, and its triangle is actually on the bottom. Starting back and going towards the nose again, doubling up. Now, a lot of times I had built that with that triangle up at the top as well as the rifle, which is rare. I only think I have a couple of them built like that. But it seems to be that the better versions like the wing pockets and the folded triangle on the bottom, not the top. So this is probably my primary model. I think it has to do something with the drag, yes. I mean, I haven't used stall proofing on it yet. I have not taped the wing pockets at all. That is obviously something that is in the works. But a lot of this plane is a stress skin structure. I mean, rifle stresses the top or the bottom, wherever it sits, and that folded nose helps keep the wing pockets themselves pretty flush. I mean, the plane doesn't stall just because of the weight, so whether it needs a tape is almost a moot point because it just goes. So.
Gotcha. That's kind of the similar design that I was trying to go for with this one.
Oh yes.
Because I had rifle at the bottom.
Right.
So then I was like, okay, well, let me see how this looks. Because it almost became a double diamond, and I was like,
a Forester for Wild Subaru for $179. Imagine a new Forester for only $179. Choose from 200 new Subarus at Wild Subaru Auto Shop. It's gotta be wild.
Yeah. And of course, once you do something like that, especially like I did with Wyvern, I mean, especially once you stop experimenting, or once it's not an experimental bird anymore, and you say like, "Hey, I want to use this plane," then you're going to say like, "Okay, well, I'm going to put this rifle on the bottom now, or I'm going to put this fold on the bottom." Especially the wing pockets, you definitely want to explore the wing pockets because you just want to see, hey, how much better or how much worse is it going to be if they're above or below, and you're going to spend the rest of the time reversing stuff.
Okay, I gotcha. And I think that's why I put this because I remember Firecat specifically did not like it on the bottom when I built it similar to this.
Really, it did not like it on the bottom. Okay.
Yeah, it did not. It just, but I don't know if it was the folded nose. It just didn't have a smooth surface on the bottom for the air to flow across, and the folded nose got in the way up front. I don't know.
Well, I mean, again, we're talking there, room for playing, room for, you can see what it is you want to do with it, so.
Okay, so now that we've got that, I was thinking about something today because I saw one of your older pictures. I definitely want to make an O-body plane because I think that would be really neat.
Old body, yeah, old bodies are really cool. I've still got a few of mine, and of course, only like bloody one of them functions. Rather disappointing, but it's.
Well, it's a very picky.
Oh yes, it is. Oh yes, it is.
That is two separate games.
And when you play with something like that, I mean, you like to think you're opening up so much, and you are. You're opening up a whole new world because when you have a round body, you've got so many different places you can put so many different things, kind of like strakes, kind of like fins, kind of like held wings. If you truly want to get into it.
Yeah. And if any of the viewers have any questions about what we're talking about, just you can post them in the comments below. Or as well as if you're on our live session, you can post them.
Yes, indeed, of course.
We'll get those answered for you as well, because we always like to hear the feedback. And always don't forget to click subscribe on the bottom down there, right down there.
right down there, yeah. Somewhere in your background screen, you will see what you need to see.
So, let's start with
what other text you want to. Well, I mean, we're talking about some basic stuff here, but we could expand on some of these texts we're talking about here. There's obviously.
Here's my dilemma. I'm at the process where I'm building new designs, and I'm so attached to my old ones, like you are.
Oh yeah.
You have some old ones that you just.
You can't let go, man.
It's not like it's hard to let go. For you, it's not. It's harder to let go because of how well they work. For me, it's more nostalgic because it's like, oh, I love that plane.
Right.
I don't want to let it go.
Right. Yeah. And obviously that's
And I haven't really pushed myself to find a replacement for it, even though I probably could.
Right. Right. And again, when you have some of us have a very large stable, and name them various things. And there's
800 over there.
Yeah, but it's still not a matter of. It's like if you find. You could take it different ways. Again, you have one plane and like have got something new. I'm putting it on here. It gets a new name. Or in other cases, you have like, well, I want to test this, and this on 20 different planes, but it's still essentially the same plane. Whichever route you go, whether you get attached to it or not. I mean, yeah, obviously that's going to affect you, and it's going to decide whether. I mean, ours is unique perspective because we're in this kind of military group. So we try to have the best doing the one role, while however we could still have a simpleton. Let's face it, just a basic simpleton, just working all of our experimental stuff on it. If we know it glides good, let's use that bird to test everything on. Luckily, I advanced myself out of that phase, or else I'd probably still be testing this crap out on a flying bus. And there's no, well, no, that would have been you. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, if the flying bus is stable, if it does work, and I'm sorry that I just labeled Draco the flying bus, but we know it was. The thing.
Well, maybe the viewers don't, but
The viewers don't know. But yes, I mean, essentially Draco was the flying bus. I mean, yeah.
And
it is the plane most of you probably built when you were like 4.
Yeah, that I built when I was a teenager. Because I didn't know what I was doing.
Some of us start from scratch, man. Some of us start from scratch.
Well,
but
I think everybody got to say they have to start somewhere.
Exactly. And
holy cow, was it terrible.
But it had potential because nobody, and you won an award with that thing because nobody, you took the bus in places nobody else takes the bus, because typically once you get past the bus, it's like, oh, I like this and I like this and I'm not using that again, So again, like you get attached to something.
Yeah, I'm not attached to Draco.
But you still have it in the force, don't you?
No, I think I put it in the reserves.
Well, right, but it's still in. It's just not active duty.
Yeah, I think I put it in the reserves. I might have retired it. I don't remember. I'd have to look back at the sheets.
but again, I mean, this is a design where, I mean, if you're going to, if we're going to have, I don't know, if you're going to have new tech and this thing glides good, why not use that puppy? See if you can get something else out of it.
So let me ask you this. Now that we're on the, now that we're definitely delving deep into this, would an X-wing on Spider work better?
Probably not. I mean, I'm not even going to sugarcoat it just because it's a really good glider. You have a really good glider in Spider. However it achieves it, it achieves it. You don't question. You just work with it. That being said, I have done the same thing with phase. Again, because I've done everything with the phases. And it took what was once a good glider, and I mean, I literally destroyed a bird with this. I flew it beforehand. It glided really good. I put the X's on it. It just flew straight and actually kind of corkscrewed. I mean, it's essentially if you want to destroy something good, you can do it with the X's. And it flew straight. I mean, it flew straight. It flew really straight. But it didn't do what the phase was doing.
Want that plane to do. So
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, it would work on Spider. It just ain't going to produce the kind of flight you want.
okay. So would at this point would putting strakes on the top, say like halfway between the wings?
Oh, I would definitely try something like that. And I would also be very careful with that. People, I give a word of caution whenever using any kind of add-on. Well, I mean, if you're doing something with your wings, it's definitely a word of caution. But if it's add-ons, it's hyperextended. You quadruple anything because they have to be symmetrical. Symmetry is like the most important thing. You already got to get your folds as symmetrical as possible, or else the plane's going to do whatever it wants to do, and you're not going to like it. But if you add stuff on, or if you cut stuff in, I mean, even if I were to take this bird and cut in a strake and make it look like a basic strake, like a quarter inch straight on. If that one doesn't match up, the one on the right side, this plane is going to corkscrew and die, and you're going to hate it, and I'm going to hate it. You do the same thing there with Thunderbolt. I mean, you either add on or you cut in. If you add them on, you're going to have we almost have to develop a device where we could place it on the plane without doing any harm to the plane, and then we can put those in place, and we know they're going to be straight down the longitudinal axis of the aircraft. Because if they're not, it's going to corkscrew. But the only redeeming quality of that is you know what's causing it. You don't have to go, damn, why is it doing it? You know why it's doing it.
Yeah, that's definitely true. I was definitely I was thinking about something, but that I don't know if that device would work. Creating something like a almost like a three prong holder or something. Just have this measured out to where this is even, and then you can place it down in the fuselage, and then it's evenly dispersed on the wings, the same distance.
Definitely, definitely a good idea. Definitely a good design principle. Yeah, I mean, if you tuck it in the fuselage and across the wings, it would have to probably be near as I can figure it. It would probably have to be something like a sliding T-square type device where it sits here. It's about this long, for example, and you can shift it and expand it because obviously, even if you made it catered to one type of plane, like if you made it catered to Spider, the typical Spider, at least V1, is this so and so wide. So you could just put this down and it's going to fit over the wings and in the fuselage just like so. However, if you make a V2, 3, or 4, well, it changes. So in that essence, you're probably going to want it to slide so you can use it for various planes instead of just one per design.
Okay, yeah, that's going to take some thought. So I guess here at this point, stupid mosquito. Why is it even in here? I have no idea. I don't even know where it came from, but it's bugging me. So at this point, I think what we're gonna do, brother, is debating on whether I just want to cut into that one or if I want to actually make a new one and mess with that one.
Well, if you've flown it and you know it's okay, I mean, we know spiders, a proven design, of course.
Yes, but I haven't flown that one.
Well,
Maybe I should build a new one.
perhaps, yeah. It's just to be on the safe side. I mean, again, it helps to fly, but yeah. I mean, if you want to be safe about it, yeah, you should probably build another one.
See, I just have more ideas coming to my head, but okay. So let's.
And this is why we have the technology sheet, which, by the way, I should share with you people, so you can see what it is we see when we ask about the types of technology we can put. We at IVPAC and mostly here at SIL and him at NASA's, I do this for most of them. There's a sheet we have out there that just covers the technology that mostly I've tried since I've been in the longest. And like you can take your basic design and then figure out which one can use it or which one has used it. I use it as a checklist or to decide if you even want to use it at all. I mean, this list is obviously in flux because every time we run across something, we can put something on there. But it's just kind of like the starting point. It's just something, a guideline for you. Hey, I want to try that. Hey, I want to try that. And you could use it. You could print it out. Then you have little boxes. It's like I did it. Oh, it sucked. Cross it off with a red X. Cross it off with a green X if it was cool, you know. But you get this sheet out. How can I share that with you people? I can share that with you people. You'll know what it is we're looking at here. In IVPAC, it's allowed to all the members, so we just get a chance to see it. It's in our documents. Our documents cover a lot of stuff, very important to us.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're gonna build that new one.
What do you mean, a spider?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna do that. Do the thing. Do the thing on it. I can't give you all my secrets, people, but
We're reserving that for a later date. I don't know if most of us consider most of our stuff secretive anymore, nor do I really care to that end. Because I mean, dude, for all I know, most of you people out there have built these planes already. Hell, you probably retired them 20 years ago saying, well, that's basic. But I haven't found anything better, and I like the way they fly, so you know, I'm keeping them.
yeah, but most people probably haven't done what you've done to half of yours.
This is true, and this is what makes me feel better because I just work with my birds. So, but yeah, eventually we will have like some OAE, one of our compadres, and that's one of our members. He puts all of his on Instructables, which we highly recommend. It's probably the best place when you actually how to. I mean, hey, they're Instructables. Let's face it, it's good for how tos. So we'll probably look at later on, sometime down the road. That's where we'll end up posting these how to builds.
Indeed.
And if you guys are curious as to what I'm doing, I am creating my long-awaited landing gear. Yeah, they look kind of basic. They're a bit kind of basic, but these are exactly what you this is exactly what you're you don't need anything spectacular here. You're just building landing gear. So I mean, there's different ways to go about this. I had like 3 different kinds of landing gear. This is probably the most complex one. And obviously the most heavy, as what I'm doing here is I took a paper clip and I completely maimed it, cut it in these 3 pieces here. This is one paper clip. I cut it in these 3 pieces, folding it in different places. These right here are little discs I cut off of a, well, not an index card, but like one of the construction papers, harder card stock. You've probably seen some of these. You see the holes, I cut the holes out. I pierced the center of the holes with my handy dandy little paper airplane toothpick. This is not a toothpick. This is a thumbtack, but you get the idea. I pierce the center of the holes, stick the paper clip in the holes, and you have a basic stick design landing gear. And again, rather heavy, so I don't recommend you put it on every bird, but it's fun to play with.
Yeah.
eventually on one of our shows, and I know we're not trying to narrow down any technology here. We're talking technology in general that you can install, and hopefully Mark here is going to end up putting on, like, I don't know, 18 kinds on that one plane. But if he doesn't, I'll probably get in the fray here in a little bit and throw something up. Which is like, hey, when you play, you play. You put all kinds of stuff in. This one that we designed the other night, I mean, the stuff that you did to it, like here, is got it. And we're talking about simple cuts. You know, this plane started out as, well, look, it's a Delta Diamond, but it has north. There's no rear fuselage back here. We cut it out. Then we trimmed the weight out of it, which it needed. And then we added strakes. I mean, this is nice stuff right here, actually. This plane flies really good. He didn't get his to fly worth it. I don't know what, but
Yeah, mine is not that great, but it's not been terrible. It's just not great.
indeed. But again, potential we're talking here. These planes are.
Yeah, there's always potential.
Potential.
It's your birthday. It's your birthday.
Now, see, I'd rather actually have him do this with a Diablo, but if he's doing this with a Spider, so be it. It's okay, though. I mean, you got to do it with everything. You got to do it with everything and anything. So do it with what you got.
Do it with what you got, man. Now look at me. Look at me.
Oh, round two, fight.
How's that look? A little bit.
I think that's in this number.
Not bad.
I think that's a shoulder flaw. Shoulder made a mistake.
Well, it does look like a spider. That's all you do. I'm sitting here letting my beloved hear you. Bananas!
Winnow.
Really?
Are you just talking about
Well,
Marking 30,000.
there's others. It's live. Hee-hee! What?
I love staring at rulers.
You love staring at rulers?
Yeah, I hate staring at rulers, I should say.
Is it one of those things where if you look at them long enough, it looks like the lines just move across like tiny centipedes?
Yeah, something like that. I'm trying to make sure that I measure this exactly. In the center. Measure. Put it there. One, two.
No, you'd be surprised how many, or actually the lack of, I should say, technology I've placed on Javelin through its years. But that's mostly because I mean, Javelin does what it's going to do, and I don't want it to do anything else. So, again, when you're in a military style organization such as us, and you have one that's doing a specific role, you find that these experiments we're working with here, I mean, it's all well and good, but you don't want them to do, you don't want to go too far with certain things. I mean, and I did with Javelin. I built Javelin different ways and promptly retired different versions because some of them just became flat out gliders, and this is not what I wanted it to do. Should I have retired them? Probably not, because I could use them for something else. And I mean, obviously I can still build them, but it's pretty much why I'm set on never building one just like this one again, which is the 26-year-old one, by the way. It's built out of note paper. I'll never do that with javelins anymore. I will never do that with javelins. And actually, I think this is V3, so I still build V3s, but very rarely. It's thick. V5s are usually the standard. V5s and V5R is usually the standard when it comes to those. And I just jiggled the camera.
Jiggle, jiggle. What I'm doing over here is I'm trying to measure this thing out straight, and it ain't working.
Uh-huh.
Ain't nobody got time for that. All right, here we go, people. Here we go, people. Let's take this.
I have pain radiating from my navel to my lower right abdomen. I'm nauseated, feverish. I believe I may have cholera.
What's that third rock from the
Third rock from the sun? No.
You know what I meant, Big Bang Theory.
Yes, it's the Big Bang. It's the big rock from the sun. Theory.
It is definitely, oh my God, I don't even know what I'm doing.
Third bang from the theory.
Third bang from the rock.
And I discovered another Sheldon mistake.
It's part of an unlikely scenario that involves sleepwalking in the 24-hour flower mark for the
I love my Sheldon mistake.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a landing gear constructed.
Holy crap.
I don't know what the hell I'm going to put them on. They're built. He's having fun with his over there, I can tell. What do you got going on?
I got that going on.
You have to forgive us, folks. Sometimes there are quiet periods because we get into building, we get into building.
Because we is into building. And I'm into building on that one. I'm just trying to make cuts that have to be this precise.
How's your eye level treatment? Is it good?
Very difficult to make sure that they get that precise.
Yeah? It would be. Yeah, I would expect it would be, actually.
I'm trying not to cut any other part of the plane. And I'm not trying not to cut any extra on the plane. And still make it as close to even as
Possible.
humanly possible. Knowing that it's not going to be even.
But trying to get it anyway.
Can you guys see that?
Ah, yeah.
Look
And those
at
are
that.
definitely strakes because those are small.
Yeah. I was going to make them bigger, but then I decided not to, just in case.
Well, hey, that makes sense.
Yeah, let's see. I got to put some tape in the nose.
The eyes are above the nose.
Put some tape, just a small amount.
It's a small little piece.
Small little piece. Probably about the size of a small square piece.
Must test out.
Ooh, that's
What?
pizza, the Thai food, the tank of gas, the frozen yogurt, and your rent. A little over $1,400.
What now?
He's just expressing his admiration. And you don't even have to put out every single one.
Ah, so we have something doing.
I need to test this one out.
Okay, fair enough.
That was crap.
Oh, man, I thought you were going somewhere with that too. Damn.
I know. I thought I was too. Maybe I gotta throw it right. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back, people.
Okay, he's gonna go get his test. I am finishing putting on the absurdly small looking. Yes, it's landing gear. Okay, I kind of messed up when I built the base one, so I'm going to dig around and see if I can build another one here. Okay, 10 and I didn't mess up. This is a different type of landing gear, and the only reason I'm doing this is because yes, it's a form of technology, but I kind of promised everybody through the magazine, our online magazine, which I urge you guys to read, keep track of what we're doing around the force. Said I was going to make one of these because I haven't made one in like 15 years, 20 years, and would like to try to do it again because I really enjoyed making the landing gear planes. So constructing this one, this is again, I'd like to point out, this is kind of a basic form just because it's, well, this is the simplest way you could do it. There are ways you could do it quite simply by putting them on the plane itself or in the plane itself. But those are a lot more complex because you have to make sure. I like doing it so that you can actually fold and tuck the landing gear back away. And the last time I did it was you guys, nobody in the force remembers this. I think I built it. Marlo might. I built it in '88. It was phase 2, number 42. I put it on, and it really kind of destroyed the aircraft. But it truly was landing gear that worked and tucked away. I built them into the wings. I built them into the nose, and it almost ripped the paper off. But it functioned. I had them in such a way that they were started off here in mid-wing. They folded down, came into the body a little bit, and when they came down here. And I put a little bit of tape on the inside there, so every time they folded back in, they actually tucked. But the plane stood on them. The nose was even harder because I had to cut out a piece on the outermost skin, which was actually the landing gear door. Yeah, I created a door. That was a little far-fetched. But then underneath, I had another piece cut from the inner portion of the fold. That was the stock itself, the front pad. And these were pads. They did not have wheels. And it actually, with a bunch of tape near the nose, folded down and then back into the place. And then, again, with a little bit of tape, folded up and tucked. Very cool, very neat. Wish I had pictures. Don't. And I don't know if I'll try it again because, man, they really tore up that bird. It did fly, but not that good.
Yeah, I definitely need to get this thing outside.
Okay, so this one works.
Yeah. I think we got something, folks.
And Mark here again, let me point this out. NASA's over here again with Spider is illustrating just this is testing a new tech in its basic form. But I mean he's had a lot of spiders tried and true. The design works. So it's a good idea to use it. And well, I don't remember how much tech you've actually tried with Spider. How much tech have you put on Spider before?
I don't think I've really put that much at all. We put dog teeth in it.
Okay.
We put a second set of anhedrals on it. And I honestly, I've made them shorter and longer, obviously, and I think we did a snub nose on one of them.
Okay, well, that's about it.
That's about it. I mean, but the plane was amazing by itself. I didn't need to really do anything to it. We were just messing around with it.
Right. This is true, but this goes back to what I said, though. I mean, Obviously, we know phases are amazing in and of themselves, but phases are definitely my biggest test bed. They get everything. And when you have a plane that dependable that like 9 times out of 10 you build it, it's going to fly good. It's like, oh man, I got to try this. That's how I got 700 of them. Is I had a lot of instances of
You
I got to
might as
try
well
this.
say 800 and quit playing around.
I haven't got that far yet.
You're like 7.
No. I am just at 7. I'm like at 698 or something like that. I haven't even crossed the 700 threshold yet. I'm trying to hold off. I'm letting others catch up.
You ain't gonna.
I mean, Javelin's only got 2 for crying out loud. And
You're
that's the closest one.
You're trying to let others in your particular models catch up, is what you're saying.
Exactly.
Not me.
Not you. No. Yeah, I don't.
Waiting around a minute.
Well, one of the things, and I know this isn't tech people, but one of the things we talk about, because we are a force, we constitute a military structure, and we're not doing this with, we do it with persistency. We do not do it with malevolence. But if we have to fight, we have to fight. And we like to think of ourselves ready to fight at all times, in which case we do have a force on hand at all times. And in many cases, that, of course, means anything from 20 to, in my case, 70 flyable instances of any one type of bird. But we also I highly recommend having a pry fly. And that's one of the reasons why I got as many phases as well as I did also, is because in my spare time, I just started building bodies. And bodies, for future reference, are just your planes built with no wings, no anhedrals, but with your basic folds, making your basic shape, about to have wings and anhedrals, which are the last portion, which make it more delicate than it is when it's just in body form. You could ship a body, you could hold a body, give it to someone, probably do much less harm than if you do it when it's already has wings, nose, tail, fins, everything. So, but if you make a pry fly, you can hold countless many ready for combat with just the addition of wings.
And we also consider, just to throwing this out there, the plane is built. If it's your particular model that you are familiar with, that you're going to build and build and build and build. The plane is built and ready to be numbered and coded. The step before you put the wings and anhedrals on.
Yes, you're absolutely right.
Is a finished product, basically.
Absolutely right. Yeah, because body.
What it's going to be.
Mostly because of that. Mostly because of the shipping possibility. In body form, if any other member or any potential member or just guidance counselor, if you will, somebody who needs help is looking at entering or looking at flying or something like that, you can foreseeably build him this body, ship him the plane like that with a clip, with tape, whatever you needs to just hold it together. You could mail it in the mail. No real harm's going to come to it. You could put the lines, you could draw the lines on there and just say, fold these down here and here. You have your wings. This plane will be ready to fly. I recommend such and such amount of tape, whatever. And yes, because the bodies are ready to be delivered. If somebody places an order, you can fill it with the bodies. Bam, it's ready to go. But they could be numbered. So once you built them, you have crafted it with your hands. You get to number it, and then you just do whatever it is you do to let people know, like, hey, he has this one. I don't.
Yeah. Which is another good point. We also like to make sure that the other members at least have 1 to 2 of each particular one that you have in your force. So if you ever get to the point like me where your entire force gets destroyed, or you happen to misplace a particular model, the ones that you don't have many of, that you were just kind of testing, it's a model that you were testing, but you wanted to you were using it, but you only had like 6 of them or so. It's good to let somebody else have a copy of that plane. That way, if you lose those 6, you can rebuild it. And you
It is indeed. Yes,
I
I have.
am the problem child with that.
I have tried to get everybody. I've done a really good job in the past. I had all of Pharaoh's, I had all of Edco's, I had all of Borg's aircraft from their stables on hand for my personal reference and their personal reference in case they lost them. Point of fact, I'd like to point out that right now, the eldest aircraft that I have in anything, my Palace Pad Active Duty Frontline, is not my plane. It's a plane built by Borg for me, so I could use it as a point of reference. I believe it is one of his Vanguards. It is from 1987. It is the oldest plane I have. It does not fly. It is not mine, but I do have it.
Nice. And this guy right here lost multiple boxes.
Well, luckily, you do have a semblance working order of at least the primary core forces. You can always build Diablo. You can always build Spider. You can always build Thunderbolt. So
Yes.
you at least have that.
Why? Which is another reason and good point that we like to point out is that if you have one that you are going to use, build it a couple of times. And I don't mean like and build by the numbers. It's also going to help increase your memory on how to build it.
Indeed. Yes.
So if you do lose your entire box or whatever, somebody steals it, burns up, whatever the case may be, it gets thrown out with the garbage. You have it. You have it in your memory bank, so you can just rebuild it, and you're good to go.
I mean,
It's always good to keep a log of where
if
you're
you've
at.
got a bunch, like some of us have a bunch, obviously you're going to have problems. You know, I mean, you have 30 or 40 designs you're working with, it could probably get to be strenuous. And there are some of you I'm thinking about, you know, like, how do you keep track? But, you know, if you keep them on hand, you just know if you keep one on hand or if you keep the important ones on hand, you really don't even need all of them. But if you keep the important ones on hand, that's all you need. I'm never going to forget how to build Javelin. I am never going to forget how to build Phase. I mean, I've done it 600, 700 times, but sometimes it's built like, and your test fleet. I mean, we in the paper airplane world, obviously, if you build an experimental plane, most people, if you start out building one, you don't even think it's an experimental plane. You just think, hey, I built a plane, let's fly. Bam. That's it. We in the Force go beyond that. We're thinking it's experimental. This could possibly be one of my new planes. I could use this as a fighter. I could use this as a striker. Yeah. I mean,
Build 1 to 2, maybe 3 of them at first. You fly each one because each one may fly a little bit differently. But once
or in the case,
once you know that hey, this one flies and I like it, then we build like 10. So you have about 15 of them already offhand, and then you're ready to start, testing them and putting them through.
a really good point to this one is my new Wasp. I mean, dude, the first day I built 5, and then I followed it up like within 2 more days. I've got a test fleet of 14. And unprecedented move. It's actually named. I've never done that with any of my test birds. But again, I mean, I've already tested new tech on this thing thanks to other trailblazers in this. I put new different kinds of tech on, not each one of, but a bunch of the 14. So they're already test flying with some new tech on them, or tech that is new to them. And this is a good thing. This is a good thing. Let's see if we can, instead of spending 600 to further a design just to see if I can even use it, because I don't even use it on phases. Basic phases fly the best. But modifying the design or modifying it for another design, it's like, well, hell, I don't have to waste that kind of time with other planes. I can like look at it and say like, hey, this would be really good with an upright fin from the rudder. And bam, I'll put it in there. And I don't have to wait for my 300th plane to say, I should put an upright fin on rudder from this. No, I can do it number 12. That rocks. You're saving a lot of time for yourself by doing that. And you're saving a lot of time by having anybody with experience in front of you doing that for you. I mean, that way you've got sheets like that you could just reference and say like, oh yeah, that'd be a pretty good idea.
Monkey blood.
That is not the name of a new plane, people. I hope.
Jungle juice. Whatever you want to call it.
So I'm going to pierce another hole here.
And good.
It's all good.
It is all gravy. Okay, now, now that I have a plane,
Now that you're on a plane
uh,
with Strakes.
with Strakes, not the first one. I'm gonna test this one. I haven't found this one yet. I need to put some tape on this bad boy.
We do have a we don't usually like I don't usually bring it up. Tape, yeah, definitely.
If you like it, you should put some tape on it.
We don't usually broadcast it to each other, or I don't even follow it myself too often. But we do have, I have marked down, documented we do have kind of like a test schedule that we follow. It's it could only be hours long. When you airplanes, you find differences and stuff. And like where a new fighter might come out for the Air Force or anybody else's armed forces, armed air forces, it could take months to test fly a new thing and find out what it does when it carries weapons, when it tests radar, cold weather, hot weather, so on and so forth. We usually get it done within hours. And we don't have luxuries like that. We don't have to worry about, let's fly with the flaps down, let's fly with the landing gear down, so on and so forth. But we do have small stages, one of which I always like to do. Stage one is obviously your indoor flight. See how it flies indoors before you take it outdoors. And yeah, the indications aren't really that good because indoors you have a controlled air environment, so it's hard to tell what the plane's going to do. Outdoors, it's much more chaotic. I mean, let's face it, it's just simply chaotic. But when you take it outdoors, I mean, we do most of our flying outdoors. Let me reiterate that for most of you that actually question, like, what about these flights that have such and such distance and everything like that? Sure, we'd like to get some records and everything like that, but I would like to point out that even the world record paper airplane did it indoors. Yes, it was a stadium. It's still indoors. That is a controlled air environment. Did that influence it? I mean, I will give props to anybody who was ever in the past, John Collins, Ken Blackburn. I mean, they have all held the record for whatever, like time aloft, distances, but it's still a controlled environment. I'm not taking anything away from them. I think it's great that they did it, but you got to question whether or not an air fan somewhere, anything caused their plane to fly a little bit better than it would if it was outdoors. And I mean, again, I still think it's great. I'm glad somebody did it for our hobby. But you know, I mean, because anybody can make it fly good outdoors too. I mean, if you get a good wind, it could be gone.
We have seen that happen.
We have seen that happen. Almost every member of the force, I am thankful to say, has seen that happen to one of their own planes at this point now.
Yep. What plane was that we lost over there? That we spent hours looking for in the night.
That's the one. Oh yeah. The one that, yeah, over here at Westview. Bloody hell, which one was that?
Was that mine?
It was one of mine, but I cannot remember which one of mine it was. Screw it, I'm just gonna punch a couple more holes.
I mean, we spent hours looking for this stupid thing.
I believe it was a Nova, actually.
Oh, it sounds like it might have been.
I think it might have been a Nova. I know it wasn't a phase. I mean, I thought it was a phase. I was going to say, I think it was actually one of the amps, but
I don't know. I don't remember.
But I think it was a Nova that we did that.
It was a Nova. I think it was one of the newer.
Nice.
I think we were testing something with Nova, and it was really good. And then we flew when it got dark.
Which was a bad thing. We never should have done that.
Really bad idea. We thought we were going to be able to keep eyes on it, and we lost it.
Wow, dude.
I don't.
And yeah, I mean, and it turned out to be pretty stupid because it turned out, of course, that it didn't go that very far from us after we searched hours for it.
It went a good distance, but I mean, it was just where it landed wasn't what we saw.
Right.
We thought it went one direction, and it ended up going it ended up making a turn that we missed, and literally sat in between a car and the curb.
And the curb.
In the parking lot.
And yeah, that plane, I mean, There was no special technology on that plane. That plane just happened to be, I don't know. It happened to be one time. It was just too late. We should not have flown it. There was twilight coming, and we lost sight of it. And that is obviously, if you're flying outdoors, numero uno problemo. You should not lose sight of it. I'm not exactly sure how we lost sight of it. I think we were distracted by something.
I think we just lost it in the light.
Could have been. And then, since it was already approaching dusk, we came back out to look for it. It was gone. It was very disappointing. We did find it, but it took us so long and so many different surge radius. I mean, when you have a plane like that, when you have any one of your planes, you don't want to lose it, but you definitely don't want to lose them to the ground. I mean, it's one thing to lose them up in a tree, up on a roof, which also I don't like to lose it too many. I mean, losing it to a roof, I think, is like heinous. But in the middle of a parking lot, landing on the ground, which we knew it did because there was no trees in the area, there's no roofs in the area. It's a great flying area. The only thing it could have landed on is some power lines. In that case, it should have came down. So there's no way we're losing that plane.
Yeah, it was just grass, and the grass wasn't even that high at that point.
No, it wasn't. I mean, there were some spots that were tricky, but no.
But
I mean, I did bring a bunch of javelins out there, and yes, javelin has a tendency to bury its nose deep into anything that's sitting, like grass, like snow. But
yeah, we've seen javelin in the snow. If you haven't seen that, check out the video.
does that do? You can use that?
It's buried.
I'm going to expand on it first.
No,
And it did survive, which was amazing.
and it did survive. Yeah, and that was a dumb idea. I mean, looking back on it, I mean, if ever there's a plane that I'm going to fly in the snow, javelin should not be the one. Not a plane that goes straight up and straight down. I mean, I thought it was a good idea because, like, well, if javelin gets wet, it's not going to hurt the bird because it goes up and it goes down, or it just goes straight. And there's a lot of body to these. Even the snowman papered one, there's still a lot of body here. If you get the nose wet, it's not going to care. And you could probably blow snow off of it because I'm pretty sure the temperature was in the 20s when it happened. So it wasn't going to melt on the plane yet. But again, straight up, straight down, snow, not a good formula. It went poof, went straight in. I should have used something that glided on the snow. Yeah, it might have got covered, but it probably would have just rested on the snow.
Got buried.
It got buried. It was really cool seeing the pattern of the javelin in the snowbank because it left a perfect outline. It left this. It left exactly what you're looking at it right there. Yeah, it left that. That's what you saw. That's the only way I saw it. I got lucky stumbling across that because it was completely buried.
Yeah,
And I think one of the other primary reasons I do this, and we're kind of gonna go off topic on this, but not so much though, because I do consider camouflage a technology, simply because most people don't ever do it. Usually your planes are, hey, look at that, it's white. Paper's white. Oh well. Javelins. I use the javelins because javelins. I believe in camouflage. We don't use it often enough, I think, but we don't usually go into combat. And we can't really figure out how to camouflage them. But javelins, I never build javelins out of white paper hardly anymore. It's always out of some colored paper because I want them to be seen. I want to find them. I mean, they get up kind of high. I'd like to be able to be seen. And no, I don't intend to be flown in the snow, but it works out especially good for snow. That one that got buried was a dark green one. And no, it didn't help because it was buried in the snow. But I figured green would be easy to track in white snow, you know.
Holy cow. I'm just thinking back at designs, and I'm like, I've got so many planes that I really.
We're not going to go with Rorix, huh?
Oh, Rorix. See, this is an example of why you need to have somebody that has a copy of your design. I don't know how to build that plane, and I don't know where it went. And I only had 6 of them, maybe 7, if that. And they gone.
They go.
They gone. That's all you can say about that. And I don't know when I lost them. I don't know what year it was. I have an approximate estimate of when I lost them, but I don't know. And I don't know where, because I lost the entire box, I mean, I lost like probably 6 designs in that box. Because I lost this, I lost the Black Knight, I lost the Black Squire, I lost Rorix. Twister was in that box too.
Point of fact, I would like to say that Rorix was probably lost even before that box, but again, it was probably in that box.
Could have been, yeah.
Well, also, I think in your case, I think Swallow and Firecat were in that box, but we rediscovered those two.
That was an adventure in itself because Firecat I rediscovered first, and then Swallow came a good time after that, and it was from a picture that he had taken of Swallow.
I had a picture of Swallow, and
And
yeah,
you had a picture of Firecat, so that was how
it's true.
That's why I was able to build Firecat, because I looked at it and I said, oh, I remember that. So it triggered my memory, and I ended up making it, but I couldn't because we didn't have an underneath shot of Swallow. We only had the top shot of Swallow.
Which again makes it hard.
Yes, it does. And so, but I knew what I had done underneath, and I actually have one here. I had done this underneath it because this is the actual top of the plate.
Oh yeah, yeah, I recognize that.
This underneath, and I could not remember what I had done to get to this point. But looking at it and then folding it and saying, "Oh, I got it! I figured it out." And of course, without Dave's help, I wouldn't have figured that out.
We had to do some careful analyzing. I had to build a plane. We did do one of these. We did a hangout. We built it together, kind of, and it came to us. I mean, it was like, well, this couldn't happen this way, and this couldn't happen this way, and eventually it just came together. I mean, as most planes do. Hopefully, you guys will not be stuck in the same kind of boat. But
yeah, definitely not. I hope not.
We'd like to try to prevent that as often as possible.
Find another. Here, come here, crazy. And here is Firecat.
Oh yes, oh yes. Our tricky little devil.
So you can see the big difference between this one and the other one I built.
Yeah.
So I mean, when you fold it together, you have a bigger Delta Diamond. When you fold these down, you have a bigger Delta Diamond in the back versus the other one that I built does not have this much in the back. And I just flew that one a second ago, and it is pretty good inside too. So I might have to have a fly off between these two to see who does what.
Well, if memory serves me correct, if I remember correctly, Firecat was a little bit different. Wasn't that like you had it as like a medium range attacker at the time, right?
Yeah.
Like, wasn't it like the Battlefield Air Interdictor, the BAI?
Pretty much.
Which, by the way, the role, we are retaining that role. It's just another way of saying it's a medium striker, so I'm perfectly happy with retaining it as the role sees fit. Oh, I didn't get it on the center of gravity.
I hear you having trouble over there.
Well, I mean, it's setting on the landing gear, but I didn't get it on the center of gravity as much as I'd like to. Oh, God, yeah. The tail's... I don't know if you people can see that. It is... Okay, here, let me go ahead and show you. I did get wheels on it. They are formed. They are in there. She's attempting to sit on there. It's
lifting up a little bit.
Yeah, it's a little... I did not put the main gear too far enough back. And that's always a tricky thing, especially because of where in the body you want to bury it. But at least I have a plane with landing gear again. I know it's a little bit late, but I did it. I did it. Tell Mom I did it.
That's crazy.
And yeah, they look a little bit gangly because I put them on a giant plane and those wheels are really tiny. But hey, we're talking paper airplanes here. This is all you need.
And if you think that's funny, go ahead and hit that like button, and then you go ahead and post a comment in below and tell them you want a bigger plane with the same size wheels on it.
This really does look. I'm sorry, but this does look a little bit gimpy. I should have made those things a little bit bigger.
Completely stupid.
I mean, okay, that's that's not rolling anywhere.
If you want to see more of that, go ahead and put that in the comments.
Now we're talking the wheels.
The wheels on the plane go really small, really small.
Yeah, okay. I mean, yeah, if I could Photoshop that onto the bottom of the Javelin, it would look a lot better. And yeah, I suppose I could have put them on Javelin. Javelin would probably not come to no harm. This is.
What else we got?
I'm gonna fly this. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna fly this and see if this actually flies with these landing gear in place. I look towards a no, but I'm gonna do this anyway, and also because this wing is busted up. But this is a very basic plane. This is what I consider the basic plane. The flying bus is a step before this. This one does have an upright fin from rudder. We were playing around with it. It's got a little bit of altered design rudder. Yeah, well, I try. And no, it does not fly with the landing gear. It proceeded to corkscrew itself right into the ground. Well, I did what I could.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. What did I build here?
Well, it's like a very small sheet you have there.
This isn't a small sheet, but it's about to be taken apart. I'm about to take this tape off. I thought this was a different plane than what it is.
I'm hoping you guys see, like, we'd like to showcase some technology here. Like I said, I mean, a primary thing that we're dealing with, he's got Wyvern here has, and this is a perfect Wyvern to use because what I have rifle is highlighted here. This is a strip of paper that is folded over the edge. It's our reinforced leading edge. You can build it. You can build it into anything, by simply folding over your leading edge, of course, and make it a thin strip. We usually constitute rifle as having like a thin strip up in your front edge. My original design wind cutter and arrow that had it, it was folded. Yeah, wind cutter, as he used to call it when he was little. They have it folded in. This one actually is built in, and if you get rifle built in, it's doing pretty good. His bird, same kind of thing. That's folded in. That's a little bit deeper.
Yeah, this one's definitely deeper. I've got it probably. I've got it this thick on this one, but for this one, I've got it a lot smaller. This one's definitely smaller. Probably about the size of the Wyvern.
It does indeed seem to be more about the size of Wyvern, yes. Rifle, there's no real set pattern to rifle, and I mean, if we're bore sighting on one particular technology, sorry, but that is one that's present right now. We seem to be working with. Rifle is like if you fold in something along the leading edge, not just everything is rifle. I wouldn't call a broad strip like half the width of the wing rifle, but something that's just like right there, and especially in the case of his bird and this bird and Wyvern in particular, because it stresses the skin. It causes something different to happen to the plane. Simply folding it on there sometimes doesn't do it, but when you tape it down like he did, or when you have something like this, when that fold causes the wing to range itself up, yeah, that's doing something there. It's causing something else.
Because I stressed mine quite a bit, and I had this was pulling so much, and it was pulling up, so I taped it down.
And I would like to point out something on that too. He has it on the bottom of his, and I show it on the top. And of course, we have this. This is one we built together that he built and he showed me. It's kind of got rifle. I like to what I'm getting on here though is I think rifle is actually, after experience with it, it's more on the top than it is on the bottom. Any plane I've built rifle on, it seems to influence the plane positively more often on the top than it does on the bottom. Why, I can't explain. Maybe it's just my designs.
I think it's because it stresses the wing pockets.
Indeed, and it's
the wings itself because you're pulling.
It stresses the wing, right. And my designs have a tendency to like it when they're curved up. Again, you guys out there, maybe that's not your case. Yeah, his aren't that way either. You guys out there maybe not have that case. I mean, maybe you have one that works on the bottom. If so, please tell us. I mean, I love seeing new things come across that. So I mean, if you got one that works that way,
Just built that's on the bottom. It seems to like the one on the bottom.
and there you go. Yeah, good example.
No, maybe not. Maybe I didn't throw it right.
Oh well, always negatives to that. Another one that I find fascinating and like we go into because I was thinking about doing it since I had this little strip, this little piece here, and I have been building landing gear. Pharaoh got me into this, and we worked together on some of these. Is Pisces. Um, we used to call them CPSU, cylindrical power stability units. There's a slash between power and stability. Um, any cylinder you put, not when you're dealing with the O body so much. And the O body is, I call them O bodies, is simply when you actually build a round fuselage. But not so much the O bodies, but they can be. Any cylinder you put on a paper airplane is a basic, very, very basic ultra high bypass turbofan. It can be an engine, especially if you build the cylinder broader in the front than it is in the back. If there's a slight taper to it, if it tapers to the back, you're gathering more air and forcing it out a smaller area. That is a basic engine. Does it work for them? I'm going to be I'm going to be non-committal about that because I really haven't seen any positive or negative tests. It really it primarily it helps any plane become stable. Hence why I like to include stability in there. Power units. Now, me and Pharaoh, when we built a couple of these designs, we went all out. We took some of this core here. We used a core of, well, in that case, we used a round toothpick. And I think it might have been a round dowel, actually, now that I look back on it. But because then we had this slightly like a 3 centimeter diameter. And then we used flat toothpicks. And we put them around the entire diameter of the centerpiece and then stuck it inside there. So it really did have a fan that spun around inside the engine. Did that work? Hell no, it was way too weighty. But it was a cool look.
Yeah, and I've had cool planes that just
It's it's a great idea again because
cool look effect.
the cool look effect. Yes, yes, it's a cool idea, and I mean, all about trying new ideas. But you're going to have to test them, and you're probably going to disappoint yourself in some cases. Um, I like the CPSUs. I like the Pisces. Um, if any case, because like they do seem to add the stability. And you get air going in a cylinder and then it starts to circle instead of circling under a squared body, which most of our planes are. I mean, if any of you have seen any of the aerodynamic tests on real planes, drag is caused and it circles right off the leading edge off here. This affects our paper airplanes as well, both above and below. Now you put anhedrals, some of you like to call them winglets. I do not. It's a part of the wing. They circle down here and then they get caught. That provides lift at the basic tip of the wing. Now, when you have Pisces on board, it circles, then it circles inside. Is it influential? It all depends on where on the plane you put it. I think somewhere mid-mounted would really work good, but it's a weight penalty, so it's going to induce drag. I just think we need to try it more often, really, actually. Whether on a big plane or a small plane, we definitely need to include it more often.
Indeed.
I'm really quite tempted to have one of these planes that are sitting in front of me now, put Pisces on board and see what's going to happen. I think I have a strip. I do have a strip, but this is a very thin strip. What other tech are we talking about here? Well, I did kind of I threw it away. I didn't throw it away, but I threw it out there. He showed it to some extent. I'm showing it to some extent with this. He has strikes. They can be considered fins. I like calling them strikes, especially when they're that small. And strikes you can put strikes anywhere and everywhere.
Oh yeah, you can put them pretty much. Like say for instance on this plane, you can put them. You can put them up here. You can put them, here. You can put them back here. You can put them here. You can cut them into this wing pocket right here, right in the middle. You can do a lot of different things with strakes. or whatever you want to call it. You can make them the same size as your anhedral, which then, you know, they're not really strakes at that point. Strakes are really, really tiny. They sit up maybe a ½ inch.
Yeah.
And
Mm.
they're maybe about a ½ inch long.
Typically, yeah, something like that. They could be up to an inch long. Yeah.
Yeah, that's just you know, typical, because these the ones that I put on this plane over here, they are ½ inch long by like not even a 16th of an inch tall.
Okay.
It's
And
just
that's a good generic size of what you can do with strakes like that. I know one of my one of the original phases that tested them out, number 208, was the second one that got them. It only had a basic set right here alongside the nose. They were about this long. They had a slight sweep back. That plane flew great with those. I sometimes wonder why I don't build more with strakes like that. Um, and then there's the extreme. Faro and Silk both own almost the exclusive rights to these. Faro went with Wolves, what we call the wing length vertical strakes, and this plane, it's good I have one in front of me, has an example of those actually because I left it folded up. If you can see this here, this is a piece SMA built this one. Me and Mark there built this together, but this actually has flows on it, or wolves on it. Flows is the other one I was going to get at, which is fuselage length horizontal strakes. Silk built that a while back, and it's hard to build those into a plane. I still can't do it, or have not even tried it. But that's essentially doing the same thing here and putting them down here about the running length of your aircraft. It really worked on the Vixen. That was an awesome plane. But this, yeah, where did you put that plane? Because you don't have this. I don't think you have this on yours. Mostly because mine sticks up in the back. The whole reason it's causing that is because this body is loose and it sticks up. So I have wolves on here. Does it serve a purpose on this plane? I don't know. I really don't. I'd like to think so. But there's so many other things making this plane what it is. That's probably mild.
Are you talking
But
about
it looks cool. That's the plane, as long as you got the straw, because that's the one we built with the straw. Now, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know how yours turned out, but because of the cuts we did, I turned out with mine. I've got this little flexible section here in the top, and it just sticks out just enough that I've got wolves going on right there.
Did you double yours?
Did I double it? Oh no, you know what that is? That's that piece that we added on that we cut off that came off the end here like this. Because this is the piece cut off of it.
Oh, I took that completely out.
Yeah, you took it out. I left it in. So now I've got a little spine that comes up and makes wolves on it.
That's right. I was like, I didn't think we doubled this plane.
No, and we did not. But we did put that little strip in there. And I left that in. And does it make it fly? I don't know. Like I said, there's so much tech on this bird. It has rifle. It's got the straw. It's got, well, these are about straight size, but these are construed as fins because of where the purpose they serve and where they're located. This in itself is another tech. Not so much. Most of the time, I have them cut in here, but these are the DFRWs, dual fins from the rear wing. Something that NASA's over there definitely needs to get into, especially with Diablo, but a couple others. That's essentially what this is. Most times, these are set in close, and you cut them here, and then they go to your fuselage, and then you could just butterfly them up or down or whichever direction. But the bonus of having those is, of course, is if you have a single paper back here, and they're nice and loose, they're at the mercy of the wind, the fly-by wind they call it, and it typically helps stabilize an aircraft. If you've got any streamers, are a good example. If you could have something that you tape right here and then extends all the way back out this far, a tail, a stinger, whatever you call it, but streamers essentially, that helps stabilize the plane because it gives the wind something to do. And I know that sounds kooky, but it's true. Give that a try sometime to any of your planes. It will typically stabilize them out.
I don't know. As long as it's balanced at the front.
as long as it's balanced, as long as the plane is intrinsically stable, you do something like this on both sides. Like if I were to cut, I wouldn't even use this thing, but this would be a good example because it's a very long and flimsy sheet. If I were to cut this in thirds so that they were super thin, I'd put one here and one here, and it's almost a guaranteed stabilizer, almost. I don't know if any of you out there have done like one of those science projects where you would like have the paper airplane contest indoors, who could fly the longest, who could glide the longest, and so on and so forth. I got a chance to be a part of that. And I did win like 2 of the 3 awards that we were giving out for that, and helped like 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 people design theirs. And I won with one that had that. All I did was add a streamer. I did a basic streamer. I just put it straight off the back like this. So it was just extended the body. It was a plane this short, and then I put a streamer off the back of it. And it just flew perfectly straight and glided down the hallway. Why we don't use it more often, I don't know.
Indeed.
Yeah. See, like other things, I don't know. What other text do we got, Mark? Because we got a ton. We got a ton.
Pull up the tech sheet.
I'm bringing the tech sheet up now as we speak. Take a look at exactly what it is we can use here. And again, for members, we cater to all the members can share this, and we let them cater to it. I give them free reign. Like, go ahead, like print it up so you can use the sheet for your own. Add your planes onto it, and then use it as a checklist. The slanted fuselage is a tech. The Spider uses it to the extreme.
Oh, a lot of my planes use it.
A lot of his planes use it. A lot of my planes end up using it. In some cases, I don't consider it a tech for that reason. If it's like something, if you start out using it, if the basic design has it, Wyvern has it, I don't consider it a tech. It just happens. But if you build a plane with a slant and you decide to unslant it, or if you build a plane with no slant and then slant it, then it becomes the tech. Any of the flight surfaces, because typically you don't put flight surfaces on a plane. Flaps, ailerons, spoilers, even the air brakes. Why you would do that, I don't know. But why you would put spoilers on it, I don't know. But those are techs, simply because, man, if you can make them work, please tell us about it, because most times I can't make them work.
Yep.
And then going into the advanced stuff, shaping the fuselage, like giving it a triangle. Silk built this plane the other day, and then like this isn't shaping the fuselage, but having this cone here. I mean, this is a solid pyramid sitting on top for a tail.
What
I mean, just bloody wicked. It was the one that started out, and she had this flat out, but we took it, we folded it, and then we taped it back down here, so it is just a perfect triangle on top. This little plane flies good. It just flies good. But doing that with your fuselage, if you had like a flat body, and with your transports, and we'll get into this some other time because transports are a whole nother topic, but your transport's probably a good example of why you should have a fuselage shape. They should almost always be round or flat. Sil and KIA, me and KIA are working on a design of a new transport that's going to have something like that, because your body should be flat so you can store stuff in it. At least flat, if not round. Canards, you put canards in there. A bi-wing, none of us has successfully used a bi-wing yet. I've built one. It sucked. I would love to see somebody build a bi-wing. And there's easy ways to go about doing it. I mean, any plane can have it if you just decide to, like, if you take your Javelin here, and I would essentially have to destroy another Javelin to make it, but if I were to take it, cut the other one's wings completely off so it's just a fuselage, and then glue them back onto the bottom side so they exactly match the top. That's what I'm trying to achieve with a bi-wing, so that there's wing on the top and the bottom. No, that probably wouldn't work. Should it work? What were you going to say? Should it work? It should be okay. The only, I mean, if we're dealing with real planes, yeah, that would probably work. But we're dealing with paper planes, and paper planes seem to enjoy having some area for the wind to get trapped to provide lift against the fuselage, against the anhedral or winglet or whatever. And therefore, if you have a boxy area, yeah, the wind can go inside, but there's probably really not much lift to be had in that. Again, you guys, I'm hoping somebody out there has had like good experience with it. Share it with us. We need this. And
Yeah.
again, more advanced stuff, framing and skeletal structure. And I bring this one up because this is one of the planes like we were talking about with the ones with this one that me and Nass has built the other day. He had a problem with his initial design because it flopped right here because he built one that has a fold in the back and the folds up in the front, and it produced undue stress on a very thin area here. And I have it too, but mine never flopped like his did. His wing floated down, mine not. But this was a case of a plane that could have used skeletal structure, internal framing. If you'd have stuck any kind, I suggested a bottle rocket stick. It's very light, very long. If you could have just shoved it in under the wing pocket so it's not exposed, but it would provide that support down the entire leading edge and it wouldn't flop anymore.
We've done that with a couple.
Yes, we have. Indeed, we have. And that is hopefully a great new world to open up and explore because I see a lot of stuff coming from that. I mean, bottle rocket sticks work really well. Coffee stirrers work really well. They're very lightweight, very small. To a degree, if you could find, I mean, paper clips broken down like this could work really well. I mean, the smaller versions of them are very pliable, very thin. The key is so it doesn't have much weight, but provides some stiffness to the plane.
Yeah.
Oh, and dude, I totally forgot about this. And the thing you needed to know, couple. The one I said that you should work, couple. Oh, this one, okay. Couple is something I developed on a phase, of course. It stands for clipped over wing pocket and the leading edge. Only particular types of planes can use this. Obviously you have to have the wing pocket. Something like Spider, Javelin, most Delta Diamonds can't use this thing. But if you've got a wing pocket, if you've got a basic wing pocket, and I could use this plane right here as an example. Now, this kind of sucks because the wing pocket is not on the overhead. I might have to build and destroy a phase for you guys to see this. It essentially, you know what? No, excuse me, folks, on this one, we're going to kind of start over on this one because I'm going to have to build a phase. And you're going to have to see exactly how this works. Mark has always wondered, like, what is couple? How am I supposed to use this? Because I've mentioned him, you should use it. And he's like, what is it? And like, I've showed him a picture, but a picture really doesn't do it justice. And it all depends, of course, on the plane that you're using. Again, you have to have the right one. These ones that we talk about that have stress is the one that works best. Now, phases seem to work good with two different kinds of styles. One like the Wyvern, where the wings go up, the anhedrals go out. So essentially the whole body is kind of a Y shape. Fuselage to the wings that make a Y, and then the anhedrals jut out to each side, like Wyvern here does. The other way they work, though, is the exact opposite of that. You don't know it. 172 is a prime example of it. One of the winners of my award for best flight of the year. They also, at the start of the body, and I think one of our planes, actually Javelin here does this. This is really weird. If you can see this, the wing starts out going up, comes down, and then goes back up. I don't know how to bring it in closer. You can kind of see that, especially on this wing here. It goes from the bottom.
You can definitely see it on that one.
Yeah, it comes up, and then goes back down, and then comes back up again. It makes an S turn to the entire leading edge. There's probably going to be a very scant few planes that actually like this, but it works really well for conducting wind and providing lift for the wing. So if you can get it, it's highly recommended you can get it. And couple, when you do couple to the planes that have an over wing pocket, that profile instantly forms, like instantly. So if I can show Mr. Mark here how to do this, you'll see what it is I'm talking about. No, I won't build a phase. I don't need another one right now, folks. But I will do a plane so you can see exactly what it is we're talking about here. This isn't going to be a basic plane by any stretch of the imagination, but it will be semi-basic. Okay, you start out with your simple sheet. You're folding it down. Landscape. Give it your triangles. I mean, again, I'm building something really basic here. But this is the only way I'm going to let you guys see couple really good. I mean, I guess I could with a phase, but I'd have to dig out a phase that has the proper stuff so you can see it.
And I'm trying to pull this thing, and I've got so much stress on the weak pockets, it's killing me.
Hey, that could be good.
It's gonna be good. I mean, I've got rifle in it, but holy cow, it's hard to keep this thing even.
Don't destroy my plane. Oh my God, what is that? Okay, I think you should call that the Campbell because it looks like a soup can.
Talking about mine?
No.
I'm not done with
Missile here has built something and is working on it really good, and we'll let you see that when he's done with it. Boy, dude, he's flown it. It's really nice.
Oh, dude, I like the way this looks. I like the way this looks.
Not to interrupt the live feed here, but what the heck happened to your screen? Why have you paused on the straw thing?
Are we good there? Oh,
Not yet. I still don't have you back.
you don't have me back?
I don't have you back. I don't know if the rest of you crowd people do, but I don't have you back. Do you have him back?
How do you not have me back? Am I there?
I mean, I can hear you just fine. I can't see you for crap.
What do you see?
I see, well, your picture seems to be froze on a top view of our straw plane.
What? How about now? Oh, and I haven't even been turning on the light. How about that?
Oh, that's good. So not only can we not see you, but we can't see you. Well, people, maybe you can see him. I don't know. I can't see him, but I can hear him. Wait, yeah, wait, now there you are.
I'm here. Okay. So if I rotate it, how's that?
Well, that's much better.
Am I Swamp Thing?
Oh, no, you're not Swamp Thing anymore. You're good now.
Okay.
Okay. So this, what the heck have I done?
I think this is awesome.
You think this is awesome?
I think this is awesome.
Work with me, people. Work with me. He thinks it's awesome. Is it awesome?
Dude, look at it.
I know. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. It looks pretty cool.
You know where I'm getting it from.
Yeah, actually, yes.
I have
It's
a fascination with Wyvern over there.
you were trying to pattern a bunch of these, and one of these days, I guess we'll do a show so you could build the beloved Wyvern. And well, you remember it flying, and Wyvern flew pretty well. Actually, you didn't see it too often. I didn't bring it out that very often. I mean, it's just been in pictures and videos, and in pictures and videos, she looks stunning.
Isn't that the one that flew down? That was the Nova, wasn't it?
That was Venom that flew down that hill that you had to chase down.
Venom, that's stupid Venom. That's another one that I like too.
No, that's not named after the Spider-Man character. That's not named after any character in particular. It's just we come up with names. And again, I'm trying not to name it after British fighters, but not being successful.
Yeah.
Okay, so here,
Neither am I. There is Thunderbolt.
right? Okay, can you guys see this one? You guys can see this one, right? Right, folding. Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not a basic plane, but I want to do something different because we're more advanced than that.
You
Got a lot of folds. Got a lot of folds to it. Okay, now here, especially for you, Mark, since you wanted to see how this works, but this is what you do.
Plane.
This is how you get couple. Okay, you have your plane, you have your leading edge, you have your wing pocket. It's all on top here. Okay, to get couple, what you want to do is you cut almost probably dead in the middle, halfway, the wing pocket, slip your scissors in there, go all the way up. Now this plane I can't do that with really. I gotta actually cut it out a little bit because the leading edge goes way. It's a very extreme slant. So I'm gonna cut it out here, and I'm gonna cut this, split the wing pocket, and take it all the way up to the leading edge. All the way up there. Okay, that cut now goes, I know, I'm bleaching out the shot. But that cut goes all the way up there. Stick it in your face. There you go, see?
There we go. Yeah, there we go.
Goes all the way up to the leading edge from the back. All right. Now, the crucial part of the other part is go flip the plane around and cut like your little tip of the scissors. Follow that cut. I would say that maybe that's a quarter of an inch, and then cut the right along the same line, both of the wings. Just follow that cut. So in other words, you're just cutting the bottom wing because you already cut the top wing. But see what that does? It kind of creates a dog tooth, but you don't fold it. And now I'll show you what it does. You can compare that wing to the other wing.
Wait.
Now you look dead at it. I'm not changing. The only thing I'm doing is holding it together. But
It goes up and then it comes back down.
yes, like this wing is with the full stress, it's causing the wing to kind of bend upwards and the anhedral to kick out a little bit. A little bit on this one. It's folded down. This wing, you have released the stress. I have done nothing to this one. This is all the stress causing this wing pocket to fold up. This is what this wing is doing. But see, the bottom wing, now that it has been released, is folded back down. So there's an arch here that it follows.
What's the whole purpose of that? What is it?
And
what
that's
does
it vastly increases the glidability in the later stages of the flight. Whereas this one kind of helps out in the beginning because when you throw it, it wants to influence it, wants your plane to pitch up. This causes it to pitch up. This also causes it to pitch up when it starts to glide. And yeah, you do want that to a degree, of course, because when you're not throwing it, when it's just gliding, it's at the mercy of like how heavy is your nose. And typically paper airplanes without any engines are just going to, so you want them to kind of pitch up. This, however, it is kind of a slower flight airfoil. But for some odd reason, the wind loves this profile. It catches up under here, and that's the most important part of it. The wing is a little bit more free, so when the wind catches it, it can make it do what this one's already doing. But the wind is also stalling and spending a little bit more time under the forewing, which is, of course, where you're losing your lift. So it glides better because there's more wind pressure here than back here.
Okay.
It's kind of a slower flight, but if you've got a heavier nose to put on there, something like Draco, great benefit to it. Anybody, if you haven't tried it, I highly recommend it. I mean, you could even tear up a plane you've already had before just to compare and see what it does. This is very unique, and I don't know. I like it, and I even like what it's doing in this plane. I should have flown it without it before and then with it afterwards. And trust me, when we actually get the flight status again, I will build a bird, maybe a phase, and I'll show you the difference.
Okay.
But you can visibly see it right here.
So this one that I put the rifle on the bottom, and the one that I put the rifle on the top.
Mhm.
The rifle on top is way better. Way better. So point taken. Rifle best suited for on the top. Technology. No.
Rifle technology does seem to. I mean, again, I would love to hear more opinions. Like, by all means, please tell me that it might work better on the bottom.
I'm gonna go get it from across the room and show you the difference in the wing.
Now, couple, I want to reiterate while he's going to get that, couple is not for every plane, of course, and especially if you don't have your wing pockets on the top, or if you use stall-proofing applications, which I consider a simple tape strip to the wing pocket to hold it down. A lot of planes that does help, but this one cannot function with stall proofing, so you need it like this. I'm going to go ahead and cut these both into both sides here.
So as you can see, the difference. This has got the rifle underneath. And of course, it creates the drag here. Because this, I could probably tape it down, but this one definitely has the arch to the wings. So
Indeed.
with that, it creates a whole nother flight pattern because, and the only thing I did was switch the rifle from the bottom to the top.
That's it, though? That's all you did?
That's all I did differently. I kept everything else the same.
Now, again, different planes, different things. And who's to say he's got those planes built exactly the same from the ground up? But
yeah, I mean, they are, I mean, when you look at them in reference, I mean, the size of them, they are like just a fraction. This one's just a fraction smaller. The wings are like just, I mean, with it stressed, it's hard to tell, but I mean, they're almost, almost identical. I did build the anhedrals a little bit shorter on this one, so it gives a little bit more wing. Maybe that's part of the problem.
maybe.
But a lot of it has to do with the rifle being on the bottom. It's creating too much drag and it's pulling it down because there's a lot of stress underneath instead of on top. It's not creating that pocket on top. It's creating, a pocket underneath, and it's just pulling it down.
And there we go. I have
So
completed.
Come in and figure out. Oh, no date this.
And see, let's face it, when you get one finished up with that stuff too, it looks pretty wicked.
Oh yeah, that does look pretty cool.
Even from a side view, it has a much better look than even your basic paper plane, just because of that. And these do not, I mean, because they're so light where they end up on your typical plane, that is, because they're so light, the horns, if you will, they really don't influence, like they don't catch the wind. They're kind of at the mercy of the wind. They will flatten themselves in flight. I've seen them do this. So you do not need to be worried about like, well, what if it causes stall? What if it acts like a speed brake? Yeah, you would think they do that. No, not so much. And besides, you could always trim them right the hell off. They really kind of serve that kind of purpose. You could take them all the way from that newly formed dog tooth back to your wing pocket and cut that whole thing off. I would highly recommend just leaving them on board and trying it at first without it, though. Really good flights.
Now, I'm definitely going to have a fly off of some sort. Probably this weekend, depending on the weather. I don't know what the weather's looking like for me here.
Yeah. Hey, it's going to be like 50 degrees here tomorrow.
Oh, really? You might be able to fly.
No, it's supposed to actually have 50-mile-an-hour wind gusts, too.
Oh, then you might not be flying tomorrow.
I might actually launch a plane and see if you could pick it up, because you probably head down your way.
That's definitely going to happen, because if it travels down here, I might actually have a plane that can fly. But I think I'm finally getting to the point where I'm impressing myself now, because I like this little plane. I like this plane. Not only, I mean, I don't know how you built Wyvern, but I think it's a little bit more intricate than this. Because Wyvern has like some kind of like crazy thing going on the anhedral.
Yeah, it does have Dale. It has Dale, but it only has Dale because of rifle. So.
But see, I don't
Yeah.
have that.
Can you fix that? Well, Right, Wyvern's really kind of basic when it comes to something like that. It really gets its oompa from that folded triangle up there.
See, and I don't have that.
And I mean, I could build a version of Wyvern.
Wait. Oh, I honestly think we're pretty close.
Are you trying to say you try to find Wyvern here? Is that what you're trying to say?
I'm just saying that we're pretty close. Yours is made out of notebook paper. Oh, not notebook paper, but printer paper.
Yeah.
Is yours double?
Nope.
Okay. What's your first fold?
Like the very first starting out fold after the triangles, or?
No. The first fold.
Oh, well, first fold is the landscape fold.
So you
Take
go,
it. Holding the sheet like you would be to read it if you wrote something on it, and then folding it in half. Yeah. Give me a sheet, bloody hell. Like so, bam.
what's your second fold? Just make one.
All right, fine. People, we're gonna make a Wyvern here.
Okay, because I need to know if I'm this I don't know if anybody else knows this or not. I'm not. We try not to copy each other's designs.
We try not to. Yes, I mean, obviously there are lots of paper airplanes out there, but
I built the other version of this at work, and I just reversed this fold, and now I need to know because it's like I don't.
oh wait. Do you want to build one while you're in the background so you can see how to do this? Because you do like Wyvern.
I do.
I mean, that way you can have one. I'll tell you, license built it. It's okay for you to build one, but people, let me go ahead and put that out there too. We like to consider ourselves license builders. Like we give permission to each other, so make sure that we do this. Because I like to consider them like each of its own inherent purposes. Like like ask permission. We tell each other it's okay for you to build planes. Because I don't want to. None of us want to use each other's. Plus, it stifles creative talent. So. But I will say, any of y'all watching, you can go ahead and build a Wyvern. I don't think Wyvern's too secretive that you can't have one of your own. I'm going to build it out of a yellow sheet. And are you ready? All right, let's get to this. Start out however you want to do it and fold it in half longitudinally, landscape style.
Yeah, that's right. Like you're reading a book, right?
Yeah.
You're gonna staple.
No, not yeah. Top to bottom, right? If you're reading your notebook sheet, top to bottom. If you're reading your printout, top to bottom. Whatever it happens to be.
Wait. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, top to bottom.
Okay.
Wait, what?
You see it right here? Look, there's your sheet of paper. Hold it like this. Hold it like that.
I'm having a brain fart here.
Well, not only that, why can't I see you again? I can't see you again. What the hell? People, can you see him? Because I can't see him.
How about now?
His nose is too thick.
All I've got is your no, not yet. All I got is your icon.
Well, let's fix this.
Okay, yeah, we need to fix this because I need to see what you're doing this.
How
Especially if you're having a brain fart over there.
I am. I don't know why. Maybe it's your camera. Maybe. How about now?
I swear.
Maybe it's my camera that I can't see you. Wait a minute now. Like my camera ain't gonna reach across 22 states, man. My zoom's good. It ain't that good.
How about now?
No.
Are you just having that many problems? Let me see if I can fix this.
Please, yes. I don't know what's going. Yeah, I don't know what happened. Like this is the same thing that happened the last time you lost a feed.
See, this is the technical difficulties. Let's see. Okay, now.
I swear there's 5 kinds of tape on this nose.
We are experiencing technical difficulties. Please stand by.
Am I back yet?
No, not yet. You're trying though.
5 kinds of tape on this damn nose. And a staple.
How about now?
That's a
Negative.
So stupid. I wonder what's causing it.
Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi?
Wi-Fi. Hey, could you get my plane with the landing gear?
Chief.
That terrible.
What? Chief? Yeah, by the way, I highly recommend these neat little thumbtacks in the shape of paper airplanes. They come in very handy.
Thank you, thumbtack.
He can see me, but I can't see him. And he's having a brain fart and folding. He wants to fold his plane, so I gotta wait for him. We have to wait for him. I'm assuming the rest of the public cannot, the adoring public, all two of them, probably can't see him. So, you know.
I don't know if they can see me or not.
But
I think we'll be all right.
we might be all right, but if you need to show me something, I can't see it. So.
Well, I've tried everything I can figure it out. Anyways.
All right.
Where are the words at on the paper?
The word, well, this, okay. You see the paper, right? You see it?
Yeah.
Okay. So you see, this is obviously long. This is short. So you're folding it this way.
Oh, okay. Well, man, why didn't you say so?
I said landscape fold. Do all y'all know what a landscape fold is? I know all y'all do. He just doesn't know what landscape fold is. Landscape fold in half. Bam. What's gonna really make you shit a brick, all you people out there, no French intended, is how basic this plane is. Do you want an even more basic plane? Let me tell you how to build a Cirrus or a Nimbus. And let me tell you, Cirrus can fly. Probably here or after the sofa. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, you ready? All right. Okay, we're going to fold triangles into it. All the way down, just basic triangles. All the way down to that fold that you just made. Look at those absurdly small landing gear on it. But they function.
Barely.
It's just like I built them the last time. What you talking about, Willis? You folded it wrong already? How you folded wrong already?
I'm having a brain fart.
Holy crap, dude. Ladies and gentlemen, we're on the third fold, and he's already folded it wrong. You guys see this? Everybody knows. Look at this. I'm starting to make the basic plane, only in yellow.
Yellow bus goes round and round.
We can make it into a bus right now. This is like only 2 folds away from Draco, I might point out.
Yeah, but Draco was a half sheet.
It was a half sheet. This is just like big Draco.
big Draco. Okay.
This could have been a Draco light transport.
Okay, what's the next fold after?
Okay, you got your triangles. It looks like this, right?
Yeah, I'm almost there. I'm just folding the last triangle now.
Okay, then here's the one that's really going to make you eat your muffins. Fold another triangle into those triangles.
Oh,
All the way down to the fold.
so you're building a bus.
No, I'm stopping the bus. This is that plane that everybody knew how to make when they was kids. If you got past the flying bus stage. And of course, try to keep it as neat as possible. Add your fingernails if you have to. I don't recommend total fingernails on this, just like I don't on Javelin, because, well, especially this. I'm using this yellow sheet. This yellow sheet that I have here is actually a thicker bond than standard. I've tried this with Wyvern before. It'll work because Wyvern works with most anything. But if you do overfold this thing, it will come back to nip you in the bud. Okay, so you recognize that? Everybody got that?
Literally anything.
What the other one? The one with just the half.
It works.
Oh.
Don't have to change anything on that.
Okay, are we all there yet? You there yet?
I am pretty much there. I'm just trying to line it
It's better, I think.
Hmm,
Well, maybe not.
I'm frustrated. Yeah.
Okay, ready? All right. So you unfold it. You got your sheet like this, right?
Triangles on the top or the bottom?
Doesn't matter. Take your take it, just take the plane and fold it in half. Fold that point to the back to the point where it touches. Perfectly even, all the way back. Not supposed to do that. Now this is going to cause some poofiness. If you can, try to eliminate it and eliminate it symmetrically. Eliminate it evenly, of course. And I'm spending my time doing that. Okay, so you folded it. So if you folded it down, you got this, right? Okay, and you can refold your centerfold so you have like this. Like I said, I highly recommend that. Press that down. You know, get you get it nice and flat as you can. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Now, next fold kind of dictates what's going to happen to the bird. Most cases, what I like to do is go ahead and keep it folded flat like this.
Yep.
Then fold another triangle into it. All the way down, as it was before. Fold it down to the tip and out. I'll show you this once you get it back out there. You guys.
That's where you create the Dale.
That's where Dale and rifle. Both Dale and rifle are created in this fold. Because all you have to do is flip it open. You will see rifle. Because when you have the Dale, you have rifle, and vice versa. Then you will have Wyvern's plan form.
Yeah, this isn't definitely not what I just built.
Right. And you can see there's rifle, and with Dale at the extreme portion of the tip.
That's crazy.
So you have again, you have the basic shape, and then your last fold before you fold the wings, unfold it, let it be flat. See your little diamond that you got going on there.
Yeah.
Take that diamond and fold it back towards the nose, right at the point where it's going to come to the wing pockets.
Are you folding it over the nose, like past the nose?
No, do not fold it past. The wing pockets shouldn't let you do that because it should be right at, you will only fold it at that limit, like right here. That straight fold will be right at the wing pocket, yes.
Well, I've kind of reversed mine, so.
Oh, that's fine. That's just another variant, of course, because if you're building it this way, you're still building it that way.
Yeah, so but you're folding it to the tip, basically.
Yes. And it will kind of cause a double tip to happen. Perfectly okay.
Yeah, that's what I've got.
This plane will not care.
Yeah, because I feel all the stress in there.
At this point, I will take the opportunity to code my bird, as in the date it is built, which is, damn people, what is today's date? The 18th?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I don't know the number yet because I'm not exactly sure where I'm at in my Wyvern construction. I know this is 50 something. I just don't know which one.
56.
Probably 56. Oh, I need a marker because I have to put it on the other side.
Oh, that's crazy.
Okay.
Pretty basic though.
It is pretty basic when you think about it. Go ahead and fold your anhedrals in. Now your anhedrals are actually slanted, so you have a little bit of a point sticking out the back. The best I can tell you is kind of like the Dale almost goes parallel to the keel. It's not exact. You don't have to make them exact. They are smaller anhedrals, though. Keep that in mind. I haven't built them with big. Actually, yes, I have built them with big. They don't like them. They're kind of like that.
Okay, yeah.
I'm not going to measure it because, again, how you build it is how you build it. That's yours. I just highly recommend you don't build them any bigger and not much smaller, because there's a delicate balance to what these things like. And that's essentially what makes the plane, you know. But you have to fold the anhedrals then, because if you do not fold the anhedrals then, you won't get them right any other time, and you won't want to unfold this bird.
Is the fuselage straight or is it slanted?
The fuselage is slanted. You want a smaller nose, probably a little under 3/4 of an, no, not even 3/4 of an inch, hell, under a 1/2 inch. I would go with 1/4 of an inch at the nose and back to about 3/4 of an inch at the tail. You don't want it too high. And it will be tricky to fold this because the nose is going to fight.
It definitely is.
It's thick in the nose, in case you people, if you're folding at home, if you haven't noticed, it is thick in the nose. And that's what gives it its superb glideability and fights the wind really well. This is almost an all-weather aircraft, because the nose just fights any kind of wind it comes across. And yet it has enough wing area to glide to whatever altitude it gets to.
Indeed, yeah, this is definitely buckling like crazy.
Yeah, and if you fold it like Mark, you might have done this. If you do have any reverses in it, it might be harder because of the triangle fold in the middle will cause it a lot of grief. I'm having more grief than probably any of you out there, unless you're using it with a thicker bond, because a thicker bond is making it way worse.
All right, I fixed that. Holy cow. This is pretty neat. Holy cow. Now I know where it gets that look from. Oh, that's pretty neat. Look at that.
And there you go. When you take, all you need is a little piece of tape, and I mean a little piece of tape. I don't put barely anything on it to hold it together.
You see, your rifle's on the top. I put mine on the bottom.
Right. Well, like I said, I have learned that Wyvern likes the rifle on top, so I try to make sure it's always on the top. And I know that, again, that double nose, kind of stupid, but it seems to like the double nose on the bottom. So I go with that. And that is a Wyvern.
Yeah, so whatever I do, man, yeah. Wow, this is actually kind of neat. Yeah, because I can see it wanting to, it doesn't want, the wings don't want to curve up.
No, yeah, because if you do, that's the thing too. If you put the rifle on the bottom, it fights the any wing pocket stress, so it will kind of flatten out. It will work that way, but it will work better with them on top. I mean, I don't know, because I don't know how much of the rest of your folds went for you. For all I know, it could work pretty good for you that way. Not that this is really special to any of y'all or anything, but I'm going to go ahead and throw this out there. This is the first one of my own planes that I've built so far this year. I've built planes this year, but everything else has been experimental. This is the first of my planes that I have built this year. But then again, I don't need to, because I have like 20 bodies of every different kind in my Tri-Fly right now. Does it?
Yeah. Just so you know.
Thanks for that. You finished yours after mine, so that's I'll get you the number eventually, but just so we know that that is the second one built. Obviously, if you people are following along at home and built yours, this is something us members at IVPAC never really thought of, as to how many licensed built aircraft we could eventually come across. We'll think about that later, because I really don't want to get into that.
Yeah,
I would love.
That's not a number you're going to be able to keep track of.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't think there's no way. I mean, I'd love to think eventually it'll get to that, and I'll eventually soon. Like, I mean, with smartphones being able to QR code stuff, it'd be neat if we could barcode these and just scan them in. And maybe, who knows? Maybe we'll get there soon. But right now, I have no idea. But it is a good pipe dream.
All right. Well, with that, I think I'm gonna end up having to call this for the evening because I got some more things I gotta take care of. Like,
Oh yeah. Okay. Some of us have little ones.
so we're gonna cut the live broadcast, and we'll I'm still gonna stick around. So um,
Hope you enjoyed the show, people. We'll be doing this more often.
we're gonna try to set our schedules for what did we say? Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays.
Yes, we'll look at various things. Others of us are trying to expand our horizons to get involved in this. We will keep your people apprised as we go. And obviously, news is at the e-zine. If you want to touch up there, we'll post videos on YouTube as we see fit, so on and so forth.
Links to the e-zine will be in the description, so make sure we get that in the description. And Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays at around 8:30, 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Correct.
And with that, hope you enjoy the show, and we will catch you on the other side.
Keep them flying, people.